Okay, we're live. Hope everybody can hear me. Do we have sound? Let's see. I hope we do. I think we do. Can everybody hear me? Say something in the chat if you can hear me. Good to see everybody. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Mary Grace. Oh, Barley's here. Everything was on a delay. I couldn't see everybody. Barley's sitting down at my feet. Hey, Barley. Come here, baby. Okay, good. So you're here for a Real Talk with Mary Grace. It is Monday, the 12th of July, 2021, and we are just going to bring you some live real talk. And let's see who's in here. All right, Barley, why don't you climb on your little tower over here and let everybody see you? He wants to climb up. Hey, Christina, I want to see if I can get him. Come here. Come on, Barley. He's not very cooperative. Barley's the cat for everybody who's new. And he's been napping all afternoon. We had a big day, and I haven't been glued to the news. I'm trying to see if I can get Barley up here to say hi. Hold on a second. I'm all wired up. Okay, let's see if he'll stay. He doesn't always stay. What do you think? This is his after nap mood. So he's Barley. He's a little tired. He'll wake up eventually and start biting me. Just wait. It doesn't take long. Yeah. I know. Look at him. Here's the big guy. Hey, buddy. What you doing? You want to look at everybody? He's purring. Can you hear it? Can you see? I'm trying to get him to look at the camera. There he goes. See his little curls? Oh. He's being very sweet. Yeah, he likes to have his ears rubbed. There you go. Everybody keeps asking for Barley, and here he is. He just walked right up when I started going live. So we'll have some Barley time because I think everybody could use it. It's things are very intense out there in politics land and media land and Jabberwocky land and all that. And oh, here he goes. Look at him. This is rare. This is a rare calm Barley. Barley's still a kitten for those of you who are new to my channel. And we got him last year right before my mom passed away. Oh, here he goes. He got really sick shortly after that. He almost died. And then and then we got him. There we go. Okay, get a good look at him because it's not gonna last. There he goes. He's starting to bite me. Anyway, we nursed him back to health with superfoods because he almost died. And and now he's biting me. That's it. Done. And so he's been a little bit of a feature on the show from time to time because everybody saw him when he was just a wee kitten before um he got this big. And I should show you guys the best picture of Barley. It's so funny. Let me see if I can find it. Um, he's really funny. Let me see if I can find that picture. The Yeah, he's really big. He's a Selkirk Rex is what he is. And I thought that he was um a mix. That's what they told me at the shelter where I got him. And let me just see if I can find this. Hmm. Let me see. Anyway, they told me that, but I think he's actually a of purebred. So he was found in a raccoon trap. I'm trying to find this picture of Barley. Let me see if I can find it. It may take a while. Um, so he's a curly-haired Rex. That's what he is. And we'll see if we can find this really funny picture of him. Somebody mentioned in the chat that we should make a picture of that we should make a Barley t-shirt. That would be funny. We'll see if we can find it. He's a funny cat, as you know. He's a very funny cat. And he's very talkative. He's very very playful, very interactive. He's sort of a one-person cat though, you know. Um he's very attached to me. So when people come over, he hides. Okay, so I think that's enough about Barley. If I find the picture of Barley, I'll show it to you. It's a pretty funny picture. And we used it on an email that we sent out one time. Okay, let me check the chat here. There's a lot of there's a lot going on in politics right now. Millie is talking about some things that are going on in Texas with the election integrity bill. Um, the uh, the Democrats in Texas are skipping town so that they don't have to deal with it. How about that? You elect somebody and they just they run out of town so that they don't actually have to do their job. That's pretty much the story of that is pretty much the story of politics these days. You know, the people that we elect to represent us have failed miserably. And I, for one, I know that you guys find it pretty disgusting. And it's terrible. I mean, to me, it's bad that the Democrats are running off, but I think it's actually worse. I think the betrayal of the Republicans is worse. What do you think? These people that we thought the people that we thought were in our corner, that were representing our values, that were going to bat for us, um, those are the people that we're finding that are the most traitorous, the most treacherous. And, you know, I mentioned a number of times, I mentioned a number, well, the Republicans are worse because you know, it's personal. Don't you take it personally that you've campaigned for people, you've championed them, you've stood up for them, you've gone to bat, you've done sign waving, you've done door knocking, and this is what you get. This is how we get repaid by these people um, for what you have, for the trust you put in them. It's just wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And so they actually need to do their jobs. And there's something that I wanted to comment on that happened over the weekend. I think this is interesting. The the GOP chair, Ronna McDaniel, I got to tell you, I've been really disappointed in her. I've actually been disappointed in her since the beginning, since 2018. Um, and I thought I had this saved, but I didn't. So since 2018, I've been really disappointed in her because I was at a women's roundtable up in DC at the Trump Hotel, and she was there, and she was taking questions. It was a panel discussion, and she was taking questions, and I asked her about Virginia, about asked her about the governor's race, point blank. You know, why wasn't the GOP behind Corey Stewart? And what were they going to be doing? How are they going to help him? Because he wasn't that far down from our baby killer governor that we have now. And she just told me flat out that they weren't going to help him, that they didn't see the numbers, that they didn't they couldn't justify putting the resources into helping him get elected. And this was when President Trump was in office. All they had to do was get him an endorsement and a rally, and that's all they had to do, and he lost that election. And I know that a lot of people say that he's not the perfect candidate. We don't I don't know that we're ever going to have the perfect candidate, but he was like 10 times better. It's 10 times better to have a Republican than to have what we have now. And And so she literally sacrificed our state to the Democrats, to the Obama Clinton machine at that time. And so I really stopped having much respect for her then. And now, Gateway Pundit is reporting as of yesterday that uh, going back to let me see if I can find the article because this is interesting. Um, so going back to November of 2020, right after the election, there was you remember when we were fundraising for the GOP to fight the election outcome, and we were trying to raise money for legal fees. I was part of that, and a lot of you donated to help with the legal fees. Well, there was there were a couple of text messages that Jenna Ellis got, basically telling her that the GOP was abandoning that line of fundraising and focus because it wasn't a moneymaker for real. And so she actually got these messages and she was showing people on her phone. Well, recently, Ronna McDaniel was refuting that, and because it came out in an article. I can't remember who posted the article, but it came out in an article, and Ronna McDaniel refuted it. And then Jenna Ellis went on Twitter and corrected Ronna McDaniel and said, I have the receipts. I was there. This happened. This is what the GOP was doing to Donald Trump during that time. So then, guess what? Ronna McDaniel blocked her. I got no words for that. Why would you? I mean, that just says it all. That says everything. And one of the big clues for you that Ronna McDaniel is not on our side and that she is not to be trusted, and I've hinted at this in the past, is that she she helped win the state of Michigan for Trump in 2016. And he tells the story about how she kept calling him and saying, come back, do another rally, we got this, we can win the state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And um and and he talks about that and how she was really responsible for for winning Michigan. But the thing that has always stood out to me as being extremely problematic is the fact that right now we have hard evidence of election fraud in Richmond, not just in Michigan, not just Antrim County, but other places as well. And so if you had any pride in your accomplishments, if you actually were loyal to President Trump, who made you the head of the RNC for two election cycles in a row, if that even mattered to you, if for example you weren't on the take, if you weren't paid off, if you weren't blackmailed, I don't know, wouldn't you be fighting on the front lines for election integrity and for the truth to come out in Michigan, your home state? Has anybody asked why? Has anybody brought that up? Why is Ronna Romney McDaniel not on the front lines fighting and pushing for election reform, election integrity in Michigan that she helped him win in 2016? Has anybody brought that up? I know that I have, but there's your answer. There's your sign right there. That tells you where her loyalties lie. It doesn't lie with her state. It doesn't lie with MAGA. It lies with the RNC money and influence and power machine. And I hate to tell you this, Rana, but you picked the wrong side. You done chose wrong. You chose wrong. You chose the wrong team. And so we're going to see how this plays out. But I, I mean, I wouldn't really want to be going up against Donald Trump and MAGA right now. I mean, I think she picked the wrong team. But I think it's disgraceful. And if I were a Michigander I would be calling her out on that. Uh, and if you notice, what was she doing almost immediately after the votes came in and what's his name was declared the winner? Was she standing up and fighting for election integrity? No, she was down in Georgia fundraising for that special election that was happening in January. Remember that? That's what she was doing, and um, everybody, um, everybody is everybody called her out. I think nobody was very happy to see her there. She didn't get a good reception at all. And then she just sort of disappeared from the scene. Did you notice that? And I think more people need to stand up to these people. And there has been a sea change in politics. There's been a sea change in politics overall, especially with conservatives, because we're not gonna take it anymore. That's basically what's happening. The conservatives on the side of America and freedom and America first are not we're done. We're not going to take it. We're not sitting down. We're not blindly trusting any person that says they're running for office, and we're definitely not donating our money to win red. We're not going to do it. And I don't know how many of you guys are getting letters and uh, emails from the RNC. Everything I get, it's delete, 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 trash, 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 delete, 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 trash, trash, trash. Never again. They have not. They've completely lost my trust. And eh, that being said, I want to make it clear that President Trump has not endorsed a third party. And I talked about this back in the beginning when there were a bunch of people out there pushing something called the Patriot Party. And I said, and I had a lot of people sharing it with me and saying, jump on board. This is going to be Trump's party, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hold on, put the brakes on. That's not what he's doing. And so uh here we are. And he's reclaiming, he's restructuring, he's taking the Republican Party back for America first. And so, so let's just keep an eye on people and make sure you vet them very, very strongly. Because one of the things that's important to understand is that when you have a candidate who comes on the scene, and for example, there's a couple candidates out in California. I'm not going to go into names right now, but I want you to understand this. So, when a candidate comes on the scene and they start fundraising, and they're sort of a new arrival, if they're a new arrival and they start raking in all of this money because they come in with a splash, they sort of make a name for themselves on social media, and everybody gets behind them, and they start making money. I don't know if you noticed, a lot of times when that happens, when a newbie candidate comes on the scene and starts to gain traction, they lose their primary. Maybe they get all the way to the race, but then they lose it. And then what they do is they run again. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that in some cases, these people are just like professional campaigners. They make a career out of it. And it's sad to say, but it's true. And so if you think about certain people, so think again. If you uh, if you see somebody who's coming up to challenge a candidate in a deep, deep, deep blue area that has always been uh, blue, like I'm talking like that has gone 70% for the Democrats down the ticket for the last 50 years, okay, 30, 40, 50 years. when somebody comes in to challenge that person, for example, in AOC's district, I'm going to give you that example. I'll give you a real life example. When back when the midterms were approaching, you guys know Brandon Strauch, right? Everybody wanted Brandon Strauch to run in the primary and try to primary AOC. Do you remember that when everybody wanted him to do that? Um, so I and he was thinking about it. He was thinking about it. Well, I started doing the research. I was looking at the numbers under the FEC filings and under all of the data from the past, like I said, 30 years, and how those people in that district have voted. And I realized that even if he were to win his primary, which he could have, it was really like a losing battle. It's because just statistically, not because he's not an amazing guy, and not because a lot of people wouldn't love him, but it's just numbers. I mean, it's just math. And so that's what I mean. So when you have some, and so I talked to him about it, and obviously he decided not to run. Um, but when you have somebody that comes up in a district like that as a conservative, and they start to make a splash, and they make a lot of money, and then they lose. Technically, they're supposed to roll that money over to other candidates. But what ends up happening is a lot of times they just become a professional candidate, and the money just sort of gets laundered into different entities. And so that's just something you need to watch out for when you see somebody that's an underdog in a district like that, that's challenging the entrenched person that's always gotten elected, and in a district where they voted that much, where they voted for that to that percentage, where it's so heavily weighted. That's an example of where you want to be aware of what is really happening. And I'm not saying that people come in with a bad intention. Sometimes they just get caught up in the excitement, and the money starts coming in, and they realize that it's not actually a bad life that you just keep campaigning from year to year, especially for Congress. And so it gives you a certain amount of clout, and then it actually helps your bank account when you have people donating to you. So that's just, I don't know why I brought that up. I guess because I wanted you guys to understand a little bit of the ins and outs of the way this whole thing works. I mean, we want to put our faith behind people, and we want to believe that everybody is altruistic, but the truth is they're not. And um and uh and um and so I just wanted to put that out there, that we have to just dig deep, and get an understanding of who these people really are. And does it mean that somebody can't ever win, or that we're not going to clean all this up and shift the balance in some of these areas? No, that's not what it means. Okay. Now, let me go back to this question. I mentioned that I wouldn't give money through WinRed. I may be mistaken, and I'll see if I can dig a little bit into that. But my impression was that WinRed had been compromised. So if somebody can correct me on that, um, let me know. I just I've just held off for now on all of it, because I want to see things sort of get straightened out. Um, so that's me. Yeah. And I think I'll see what I can find out, and then you guys do some research too, and let's just see if we can trace this back. Um, and I think, yeah, I would just really just be vigilant. Just make sure that you're really vetting these people, and not just blindly throwing money at their campaigns. I hate to say that, because we don't want the Democrats to get the upper edge on this. But we do need to be vigilant. And obviously, the real thing that we want is election, is to turn all of this around. We want to fix. We want to have election integrity, and so that is really important. Um, let's see. Yeah, Delia says, I believe it's compromised, but Trump's URL has WinRed in it as well. I don't trust it at all. I know. Yeah, I think that's something. Maybe we should ask that on George next, on the next George chat, on the next George News chat. Let's ask him. Let's ask them what's going on with that, and I'll see what I can find out too, from people in um, in the know. Okay, I'll just see what we can find out, because I don't want a single dime of my money to go to the RNC. Absolutely not. It's just, I'm done. We're done. We're done. We're done playing their games. We're done acquiescing. We're done following. And one of the things that I've noticed, for the most part, and this is something that I believe is a challenge to everybody, and that is this: I've noticed that for the most part, um, people are looking for somebody to follow. Have you noticed that? That it's sort of human nature, and that's how it was so easy to get this entire pandemic off the ground so quickly, and to make it, and that's how it's been so easy to perpetuate this farce for all this time. That for the most part, the human population, the general public, is looking for somebody to follow. And when you get people who have charisma, who come on the scene, and start making a splash, that element comes into play. And so I know that I'm one of those people that's constantly saying, think for yourself. Uh, don't be um, don't be sheep. Right, and that includes not just with the pandemic, but with all of this. We really need to learn how to do the due diligence. Like, for example, you can go to the FEC filings, and you can see how a candidate spends the money. You can look at their receipts. You can look at what they're spending money on. I told you that a lot of these candidates use the same social media vendors as the Democrats. It's all one big incestuous political uh, con job, and so that's something people need to really start to do your due diligence about and pay attention to. I really urge you to do that, especially because we're about 18 months, not even 18 months from the next primary, from 2022, if you can believe that. And so it is really important. It's really critical, because you're going to see more of those candidates come on the scene. And you got to have your wits about you. You got to be smart. You got to be smart. Okay. Now I wanted to give you an update about what happened last week. I talked about taking my dad to the VA. I talked about how we got him an appointment and he needed a checkup, and how he was we weren't entirely sure that we were going to go to the VA, especially because some people were having some warnings about some things that were being done to the veterans. And obviously, because of the situation where we have the brown shirt door knockers going around, trying to convince people to participate in this scientific experiment, I was concerned. I wanted to make sure that I was extra vigilant, because my dad hasn't been there since before the pandemic, and my mom used to go with him, and this time I went with him, and I decided to go because I wanted him to get some blood work, because he hasn't had that in a while, and also just I wanted him to have a checkup. And it is something that he actually earned as a veteran. And um, I didn't want to, have to find a new doctor, et cetera, et cetera. So I decided, though, and I told him ahead of time. I said, look, if they're not willing to let me go with you, then we're just going to leave. And he was okay with that. And so we got there, and it was pretty funny, I have to tell you. When we walked in, last time we went, they the person at the door said you have to put the mask on, and I said no. I said we'll just wear a face shield, and they handed us some face shields, and then we never put them on, and nobody bothered us. And this time there were two people sitting there, and the funniest thing is there was one guy with like a full beard, and he looked like a werewolf, and he had on this black mask, and it had one of those vent things in it. And if you know anything at all about PPE, you can't actually wear that thing with a beard. It doesn't work anyway. And these are people, I don't know if they were volunteers, or I mean, they're not medical people. They're the people that check you in. And they were sitting there, and they were being a little bit insistent that we cover our faces. And I, of course, was being insistent back. And they were trying to talk to my dad, and he couldn't hear them, couldn't understand because he has hearing problems. And my dad's hearing impaired. Would you please pull that down so he can understand you? And then she said, "No." And she said, "I can't." And I said, "Actually, you have to because of ADA law. It's federal law. You're required to accommodate him because he has a disability." And so that helped a little bit. She pulled it down a little bit, and then she put it back up. And so they insisted on talking to him. And then the young man just started talking to me, and I said, "I'm not the patient. Talk to him." Because that's what some people do sometimes. They talk, if somebody has a disability, I don't know if you notice this, they'll talk to the companion of the disabled person like they're, you know, mentally unable of having a conversation. It's like they're not there. Have you ever noticed that? And so so the so so the guy kept talking. You couldn't understand a word. I think the beard actually absorbed all the sound too. And I could barely understand him. And so anyway, they just kept at it. And so finally he looks at him, and he goes and he talks loud because he has a hearing issue, and he goes, "Take that thing off. I can't understand a word you say." I thought it was so funny. I inside I was jumping up and down and going, "Yay! Good for you." So anyway, we didn't stay there long, but it was long enough to have that situation. And then he checked in, and then they gave us the little shield things, and we sort of kind of wore them. And anyway, once we got back, I asked the nurse if they could accommodate him, and everybody beyond that point was super accommodating. So I do want to say this about the VA. Their phone system is messed up beyond imagining. The front desk check-in, they could use some training and some work. um, the other people who work there, the nurses, the staff, everybody was lovely. Everybody was really courteous and kind to my dad. They made a point of looking him in the eye and talking to him. They all put on face shields. They really made a point of taking care of him and making sure that he was comfortable. And I was grateful for that. And so I want to give credit where credit is due. Now, the other thing is that I did make sure that I was with him all the time. And so if you have a loved one who is elderly or disabled, that when you uh, make sure that you're with them on an appointment, because they did ask us about different procedures that he may or may not have had over the last year. And the other thing that they do is they have this questionnaire that is they have to do it, but they ask a lot about thoughts of suicide, and because that's a big problem with veterans. But with my dad, it was a little bit confusing because of the way that they ask the questions, and then just the way things are phrased. Like, It's not even in his lexicon. And so that was a bit awkward when they kept coming back to it. Like they would throw these questions in a different context. Like they would ask you, okay, when was your last checkup? And then they would see things like, have you ever gone to sleep and hoped you didn't wake up? And it just, it's like, I know what they're trying to do, but it completely threw him off. He was just like, he's like, what? You know, you were just asking me about my last checkup and now it was bizarre. So so anyway, I think I'm really glad that I was with him. I stayed with him the whole time, and I was right by his side, and you know he didn't need to have any procedures that would have warranted me leaving the room. I was prepared for that scenario if that were to happen. So, you know, without going into detail about his medical situation, I just wanted to say it was a really good experience in as much as it could be, in so far as it could be, that we were at the VA. And that was our clinic. Oh, I did also ask about the pictures on the wall because people have asked me. I told you that I would report back. I did not see any photos of any military leaders. I didn't see any commander in chief. I didn't see joint chiefs. I didn't see anything like that in this VA. This is a smaller branch. Maybe that's why. But I did ask somebody about it, and because they have other artwork there. And the person that I asked, I sort of I sort of threw it out there as just kind of, oh, by the way, you know, I just noticed, you know how I do that when I interview people without them knowing it. That's what I did. And anyway, the guy that I asked, he didn't really seem to know. It didn't seem to be an issue. Um, but they have a picture of the clinic director as you walk in, but that's it. I mean, no flags, no American flag, no nothing that would make you realize that you're in a military facility for veterans. I thought that was odd. And again, it's a satellite clinic, and it's in, well, I mean, they rent the space in the building, but it's not the main VA. That's about an hour and 20 minutes from us. So I don't know. What do you think about that? I just think that's odd that, you know, they had somebody else's artwork on the walls. It was like photographs. It was like something you would see in a cafe when a local artist puts up their work. Bizarre. I would have liked to see, you know, flags and pictures of our commander in chief and that kind of thing. Yeah, I didn't like it. Post patriotic. Yeah, I thought, yeah, it was weird. Oh, and then of course they have the cubicles. They have the plastic cubicles up, so I couldn't actually sit next to my dad. We had to sit in our own little cubicles. Um, Delia says maybe it's more calming for the veterans. Oh, that's actually maybe that's true. Yeah. Um, Every hospital has up pictures of their board members and doctors and anyone charged. Same with the military or government facilities. Yeah, I think at least a flag. I would like to see a flag. But that's my report on that. And I think, like I said, I think it went well. He has to go back for his hearing test next month. But I think that it was good. Yeah, the staff there were really nice. But well, here's the funny thing. So when his doctor came in, they had asked the doctor, you know, to use a face shield. Well, the doctor walked in with the shield and the mask. And then when he came in, he took the mask off. And it was one of those cheapo masks from China. And what do you guys think he did with the mask? Any guesses to what this doctor did with a disposable mask after he took it off, after wearing it for I don't know how long? Um, I think it was very interesting. So I'm going to show you. There wasn't even a space on the wall for any of those pictures. He hung it on his belt loop. I mean, isn't that strange? I thought it was really strange. Like, why wouldn't he throw it away and just start over? Doctor. Hmm. No, he did not throw it away. He hung it on his belt loop. And yeah. And so it was, it was touching the chair when he sat down. Here, look. It's touching his pants. It's probably safer in the pocket. Touching that chair that other people had sat in and touched and sat on. I know. Isn't that crazy? I don't get it. I mean, if this, like, right, it's this thing, this is so serious. It's so serious. You could be contagious. You got to wear that thing. Here, I'm just going to hang it on my belt loop, and it's just going to touch everything. It's going to touch my pants. Ugh. Okay. I think the pocket would be safer. Yeah. Anyway, I took a picture because I just thought it was so not what I expected the doctor to do. I'm going to save this disposable mask and put it on again after it's touched everything. I think that's pretty funny. Um, yeah. So, wanted to tell you that. Okay, now, um, it's really gross, isn't it? It just creeped me out. It creeped me out more than if he put it in his pocket. I'll be honest with you. It creeped me out more than if he put it in his pocket. That's just hands down. Um, Now, listen, I've got some interesting news. Do you remember the other day when I was talking about the Lego insurrection that the FBI had cracked the case? And the FBI had cracked the case. They found that a one of the insurrectionists had built a model of the Capitol out of Legos, and we and so I said, that's it. The case is cracked. We can move on with our lives. Well, it turns out not so fast. It wasn't actually, that wasn't the full story. Um, so this is what they said. Remember, they initially said that this insurrectionist had a fully constructed model of the Capitol out of Legos, right? Well, it turns out that was not true. And this is the story that was posted on Breitbart today. They said the Department of Justice has withdrawn its claim that a Capitol Hill riot suspect was found to be in possession of a fully constructed Lego set depicting the U.S. Capitol. The Lego set was still contained in a box, the DOJ said. So there goes that theory. It wasn't Legos after all. We're back at square one, guys. Look, in the box right there. And if you've ever been to the Capitol, if you've ever been to DC, um, you can buy these Lego sets in the gift shops. You can buy, I think they have a White House one, or you could buy it at the Lego store. Yeah. So, I mean, imagine if they decided that every single American, or not, who had a every single person who had a box of Legos with a picture of the Capitol on it was a suspect in this case. That's what that's where we are. And they lied. I think we should change around the letters of the FBI. Let's just change it to FIB, fib. That's all they do is fib. Liars, liars, liars. That's it. All they do. Fib. The fib agency. The big fat fib, big fat liars. That's it. That's all they do. And so we'll have to keep an eye on this story because there may be more to come. Okay. But like I said, I thought that we had had cracked the case. I thought that was it. Case closed. No need for a commission. No need for a January 6th commission. No need to spend your tax dollars on doing all of this investigation. And now we're back at square one. Back at square one. Somebody's asking an important question here, and that is is there a fund to assist those still incarcerated because of the 6th? That's a good question. I don't know that. I don't know. But you know that there are many people who are in jail in DC without charges on because of what's been because of this whole thing. I mean, it's absolutely a charade and a farce. Yeah, they sell these Lego sets like on eBay. For all we know, okay, let me just go back. I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say that the fib actually planted this. That's what I think. Yeah. Somebody just posted a link on Facebook. If you could do me a favor and edit your post and take out the link, you can break it up. So spell it out, DOT space COM. When you post links on Facebook and YouTube, they hate it. And that gets my post shadow banned. So it's Jana. So just spell it out, NCLU space dot space com. That would be great. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, so take the link off. That would be great. And then just redo the post. Okay. Thank you for giving us that information. I just need you to post it without putting the .com together. Okay. Now let's see. What else is going on? The president is posting on Telegram like crazy. He's putting out statements like every 5 minutes. So if you're not on Telegram, you need to be on Telegram. And the channel that shares there are a few channels that share his work. I almost always share everything that he posts on my Telegram, which is Mary Grace Media Official. So just make sure that so just make sure that you are following my channel, Mary Grace Media Official. Oh, somebody's going to order a thank you, Jana, for fixing that link. Somebody's going to order a Lego set. Do it on the down low. Maybe they have them on the black market. You can do it with cash only. Wear a hoodie and a mask. Oh, like a criminal. Okay. Let me just look at my channel. The other channel that shares all of the official posts of our president is George News. And that is a verified channel with a blue check. There are blue check channels, verified channels on Telegram. That's one of them. Okay, somebody is asking about the speech from CPAC. I don't have time to go over that today. I did not watch it in its entirety. It's been a little bit of a busy weekend, and I was sort of unplugged from the internet for a lot of that. I did catch a lot of the interview that he did with Maria Bartiromo, but I am going to suggest that everybody go back. RSBN has the speech in its entirety on their website. All right. And so even, obviously the socialist media people aren't going to let it stay up. Sylvia Sue Lynn is saying almost 500 in the DC jail. I'd like to be able to write to them in the jail. Okay. So somebody on Facebook was posting a link to get information about that. And that link was nclu.com. Is that right? So that's what I would recommend, is that you go find that. All right, now I want to read you some of the things that our president has said, because I think some of them are really important. Um, eh, well, here's something. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go find it. He says, okay, he's talking about Cuba. This is important. Yesterday, the New York Times. Yesterday the Cuban people, Cuban MAGA basically, were protesting in the streets in Cuba and in Miami, and they were carrying American flags and demanding freedom. And the New York Times reported it as, they said Cubans are chanting freedom and other anti government slogans. These people are communists. So freedom is anti government. It is, but oh gosh, did you see how the feed just went out when I started talking about that? Really? Huh. Very interesting. I want to show you something on YouTube. I want to ask you, when you go back to watch my YouTube replays, I want to ask you if you see this in your feed. This is what they do to my broadcast. Does anybody get this? Does anybody get this image? Um, when when you look, when you're scrolling through YouTube and they give you suggested channels, how many of you get this on my channel? Have you seen them do this to me? They do it all the time. Anybody see that? Yeah, I got bleeped out as soon as I started talking about Cuba. Interesting. Huh. Not a coincidence. Okay, let me read this post. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the channel stays up. Um Everybody's saying that they do this to my thumbnail. Yeah, uh it happens to me. They change my thumbnail all the time. So we're talking about two different things. One is that they just they just froze my chat. They froze everything when I started talking about Cuba and the word freedom. And the other thing is that they do this, that they change my thumbnail and put this little grayed out thing on the screen. So when you're scrolling and you see me on the feed, that's all you get. Yeah, it doesn't put my title in either. I need to go start and edit my titles. By the way, Delia has been doing the show notes, and so please go and look at the show notes on the uh, go look at the show notes. Go look at the show notes from the two shows that I did last week, and if just tell us what you think. Let us know what you think. Put something in the comments. It's always good when you come back and watch my shows, that you put a comment anyway. So when you come on Facebook or you come on YouTube, leave a comment, because that helps get it up in the feed for other people. And then also on Facebook, make sure that you are following the page and liking Mary Grace Media, and then also like the show, this episode, and then comment, tag people, share it into groups on Facebook, and then on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and then hit the bell so that you don't miss an episode. And then if you come back after the fact, um, if you come back after the fact, then leave a comment and let me know that you were there. Let me know what you think of the show. I do read those comments. I don't read all the comments on Facebook just because they make it difficult for me to do that. I can read some of them, but I can't read them all. It doesn't load. So sorry. Um, Delia says it will really help me to know if people it will really help to know if the show notes are helpful and are accurate. All right. Now, let me go. What was I going to do? Totally just completely lost my train of thought. I was going to read that statement about this country, these people. Big demonstrations are breaking out in Cuba and Miami in protest of the communist Cuban government. Although today there are 0 protesters in Cuba. You know what that means? Don't forget that Faker 46 and the Democrats campaigned on reversing my very tough stance on Cuba. Remember when Obama attended baseball games with Castros while they imprisoned, beat, and killed the Cuban people? I stand with the Cuban people 100% in their fight for freedom. The government must let them speak and be free. Faker 46 must stand up to the communist regime, or history will remember. The Cuban people deserve freedom and human rights. They are not afraid, in all caps. They are not afraid. I kind of miss him doing all caps tweets. So I'm pretty happy about the fact that he put that in all caps. See that? They are not afraid. Okay. This is the channel, by the way, that posts only his stuff. This is it. See, it has over 1 million subscribers. They don't allow comments. All they allow is you hit the heart or the flag. That's it. That's the channel. That's like the official channel. It's not him personally. He doesn't come in and talk to people on that channel or anything like that. But that's one of the official Telegram channels. It's not verified, but it is a place where they post his official statements. Okay. Blowback on the false. Okay, hit the like button. Yes, thank you. Yes, please hit the like, hit the thumbs up, all that. All right. Let me check my notes here. Oh, there was something else I wanted to tell you. I talked about the Lego insurrection. Oh my goodness. Go away. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So you guys know, um, you guys, everybody knows that the Delta variant is not a thing. Are we clear on that? Does everybody know that? No, there's no Delta variant. There's no Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, none of that. Nothing. No Zebra, Delta, Zebra variant, nothing. That's not a thing. All right. So, just to be clear, but remember when I told you a while back about when the whole pandemic first started, when the whole pandemic first started, the way that the media drove social opinion, the way they drove the lockdowns, the way they drove the face diaper was through going on social media and unleashing bots. They have these bot farms where it looks like real people who are talking and they're saying things like for example, if a governor decides not to shut down a state, you get people on social media who are begging him to shut down the state, and either they're too stupid to know that they're bots, or they're the ones who actually release the bots to use it to justify their treacherous behavior. Either way, it's important that you understand this and that you recognize it. And Kaneko the Great shared something last week about this. I'm going to put it on my channel right now. I shared it on my channel last week, but we didn't get to talk about it. So he says there is a Twitter bot army promoting fear of the Delta variant and pushing for more government imposed lockdowns. And this is, it's important that you understand this, because this is something that that you can show people for real who may be inclined to listen, because what you get is, and he what he does is he takes screenshots, um, and shows you, comparisons. They're basically using the same script. It's like the Mockingbird Media. It's like the 4 a.m. talking points. And so you'll see, like, here's um, Mano 104. This is disgusting. Masks and social distancing should be in place till minimum Christmas time at the earliest. The government are clueless. The Delta variant should be taken seriously, and we should go into a national lockdown to prevent spreading. Um, and then, okay, here's another one, CDM. This is disgusting. Mask and social distancing, right? They're literally using literally copying and pasting, and they're making it look like these are real people. And then what Twitter does is they allow it to trend. It's not groupthink. It's literally bots. These are automated Twitter accounts that are trending artificially, and that is how they're driving social media. So one of the things that's important to understand about social media and about trending and influencing and hashtags is that because the CI whatever, the fibbers and the Central Ignorance Committee agency has had control of this. They take control of the messaging in such a way that it suppresses the real messages. So when people like me go on Twitter, if I could, when people like me go on and say, listen, guys, there's no Delta variant, there's no Gamma, there's no Beta, whatever, this is a big lie. That's a message that should trend because it's the truth. The reason that it's not trending is because I'm shadow banned, because they have algorithms that intentionally do that. And the reason that these other things are trending is it's the same thing. The social media companies are in cahoots, and they are driving the message. They're just like the mainstream media, same thing. And uh, so that's important to understand that, and that's something that if you can get through to friends and family who are not yet red pilled and make them see, look, there are identical tweets that are saying exactly the same thing, and these are accounts with hardly any followers. Why are they getting retweeted 1,000 times? It's like, so at some point people have to use logic and understand that's not normal. That's not organic uh, trend. It's all manipulated. All right. Now, let me read your comments here. Uh, yeah, it is a scam. Um, oh, Michelle has a good theory. She said, I think they have to lock down to find people at home as they walk around looking to give people the Jabberwocky. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Um, yeah, keep them home. All right. They're all fake. Question: why Tokyo, India, and France on the Rona increase? Do you really believe they are? Or is that part of the message? They've been telling us for months that India is out of control. And you know what? People from India are going on social media, the ones that can escape the censors, and they're saying that's BS. We're fine. The government of India is giving out ivermectin. So, yeah. Um, it's just uh it's all false. Okay. And remember, this is what I've been saying, that people are looking for someone to follow. And so when the social media overlords get when they work with um, the cabal to get these things trending, then you've got the followers who look at this and go, oh no, we need another lockdown. the Delta variant is out of control. See what I mean? Um, I mean, like once again, once again, we're looking at just this sheep mentality, you know, and sadly, nobody's standing. People still aren't standing up. Like, when the hospital that I went into today to go to this VA clinic, they've got this signs up everywhere. You must wear the face diaper to come in here. Everybody, you have to, as per CDC. It's like we walk in, we waltz in without the thing on. Nobody says anything. And I'm looking at all these people and I'm thinking, okay, if we walked in without it on, why do you think that you have to wear it? If just five of you took it off and then another five and then another five, then this we would swing the group think into the other direction. um I, here's an example. I went to the UPS store today, and the UPS store um the UPS store said that I think I don't even know if they still have the sign up, but like no more than 6 people in the store, whatever. That's crazy. They keep using the word 6. We know why. The number 6. But um but so it's almost 100 degrees here. And all of these people are standing out on the sidewalk with their packages. And I mean, like old people with canes, a guy with a dog, a guy with this big, heavy thing. They're all standing out there. And I go in, I finished my um, transaction, and I came out, and there's like plenty of room. There's plenty of room. The people that are waiting to go up are waiting like 20 feet behind the counter, behind where the line, where the counter is. And I'm just thinking, what is wrong here? Everybody move up, and get these people in. So I come out of the store and I opened the door and I looked at the people on the line. I said, everybody can go in. They don't care. And so people started going in. I'm opening the door. I'm like, in you go. And people were listening to me. This one guy with that really heavy thing, he looks at me and he goes, well, I'm fully vaccinated. It's like he needed my permission to go in to the UPS store where there's plenty of room. It's for real. I was like, here, I'll hold the door for you. Yeah, that was it. Just took one person to say, in you go, in you go, in you go. They don't care. Isn't that funny? I just wow. Um, but yeah. So it's like it works both ways. All it takes is somebody like me to open the door and go, they don't care. Take the mask off, go in. Yeah. So, vaccinated or not, just go in. All right. Now, let me check your chat here for a minute. I do need to go. My dad got really tired today. I think he was napping still, but I've got to make him dinner. Um, all right. I think that's it. Okay. So, I'm going to be live on Wednesday, and I'm going to California. I'm going to Anaheim to the what's the new name of Clay Clark's conference? I can't believe that I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember. Darn. Anyway, I'm going to be out there, but the other thing I'm going to do, this is really exciting. I'm going to go to the superfoods, to our superfoods fat processing facility in Long Beach. Our superfoods are made in America. Awake in America conference. Thank you. Um, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the superfoods processing facility, taking my feed out again. I'm back. All right. Um, I'm going to go to the superfoods processing facility. I can't wait. I'm excited. I think the security is really high. I don't think I'll really be able to get pictures or anything like that, but I will be able to tell you exciting things about what we see there. everything there, it's like I already know that all of our food goes through multiple layers of quarantine in the facility, like before it actually gets in the facility. What did I say? I said I'm going to Anaheim. I'm going to that conference, the Reawaken America conference, and uh and then I'm going on a tour with some of my other business partners to the superfoods processing facility in Long Beach. I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to report back on that. And if you are inclined to get on superfoods, go ahead and do that. Write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and get the world's best made in America organic green superfoods delivered right to your door. If you've got a little bit of weight to lose, if you've got some aches and pains, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're trying to eat healthy, but all the fresh foods that you buy always die in the refrigerator, um, superfoods is probably the answer for you. Okay, um, for real. Now, info@marygracemedia.com. If you write to me, you're also going to get a promo code so that you can save $100 off of your purchase of a 30-day reset. The person asking for a link, I don't put links, but you can write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and I promise I will send you a link. How's that? Let's see. So on Wednesday, I'm going to tell you an amazing superfoods testimonial. And also, let's see, what about the chat here? I wanted to tell you, watch Steel Truth tonight, steeltruth.com at 9 o'clock Eastern. Anne has a pretty explosive story that she's going to be talking about. I think that she's probably already shared some of the links in the in her Telegram, but I think you're going to want to hear this. It's going to be. eh, I'm just telling you now. You're going to be mad, but just make sure you watch it because the information that she is putting up is going to be extremely important, and it's something that everybody needs to know about the pandemic. So make sure you watch her channel, steeltruth.com, and you're going to be, like I said, pretty disturbed about what you're gonna see. Um, okay, somebody says, Mary, no Lucy and Ethel routine on the superfoods conveyor belt. Okay, I'll have to tell everybody. That could be fun. All right, so I will see you guys on Wednesday. I'll be here at 5:30 Eastern. Make sure you're following this channel. Make sure you bookmark it. Make sure you set your alarm because I will be traveling the rest of the week, and that's my only broadcast you're going to get for this week. Okay, 5:30 Eastern on Wednesday. Superfoods people, write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and get your voucher so you can save over $100 off of your 30-day reset. And there's all kinds of other bonuses and rewards that you get when you start to buy. Amazing. You can like earn free superfoods and things like that. So make sure you do that. I will see you guys again on Wednesday. And thank you to my moderators. Thank you for all of the chat. And thank you everybody for being here today and for fighting the good fight.